Hey guys, Adam here, and welcome to another episode of On the Couch. Today we are going to be reviewing Earth to Echo, which is basically E.T. with found footage. So yeah, again, I don't really have to tell you the plot. It's just basically, it's E.T. It's a group of kids find an alien and they try to get him home. What's funny though is they try to do it all in one day. All in one night, I should say. Alright. So basically what is happening is the movie starts off with this kid named Tuck narrating the film, saying that they're all being forced to move out of their suburb because construction workers are building a freeway over them. Which I still find that questionable. I mean, I know it's technically legal to do that if it's justifiable, but it's still questionable. But anyway, oh god, and so they're spending one more day with. So him and his friends are spending one more day together, and they do it and they spend it by looking for whatever is making their phones fuck up. Like their phones are giving them weird images, and it turns out it's a map and whatnot. And so they're looking for it. So as they're going through the desert in Nevada, they finally find what they're looking for, which is just this tiny little alien robot who they call Echo. And, of course, they also had to outrun the government. The government, who are assholes in this movie. And I'm talking fucking assholes. Alright, so basically, so this isn't really like one of those found footage, typical found footage movies where someone just finds the tape and then they play it and then they show what happened to this person. Well, first off, it's a kids movie, so of course the main protagonists are going to be alive. But it's actually shot in a way where it's shot like a movie that you would post on YouTube. It really is. Although at times it's distracting because you're so used to the typical format. But after a while you get used to it and you're like, oh, yeah, this is something a 13-year-old kid with a camera would do with some footage. She would actually make it into a movie. But there are times where it feels like it's not a 13-year-old kid making this, but an actual professional editor. Oh god. So yeah, he and his friends go look for the alien, and when they find the alien, they decide to go on a road trip. And one night in Nevada, in the middle of nowhere, to find the pieces of Echo's spaceship and get him home before they all have to move the next day. And here's where my problem with this movie starts. How the fuck do a bunch of kids and on bikes get to all these locations in one night? Like, the first place they go to is, they start at like sunset, at sundown, but they have to go to the first location, which is 20 miles away. I'm pretty sure on bikes it takes several hours to get there and then get to other places. I mean, but whatever, it's suspension of disbelief. God. my only problems with this movie, actually, and surprisingly, the one thing that didn't bother me were the kid actors. The kid actors were actually pretty solid in this movie. They acted like kids. They acted like actual kids. Like, you can believe these are kids you would meet. And not just a bunch of kids pretending to be kids because the director told them, okay, you're just a bunch of kids, pretend to be kids. Alright, these kids, they act like kids. Hell, they actually act like kids from the 70s and 80s. And 90s. And they're relatable. They really are. My favorite character was the awkward kid. Because I could relate to him. I could relate to the kid that didn't have a lot of friends, but the friends he hung out with were friends to him, but they still gave him shit. He was usually the butt of everyone's jokes. I liked him. I really did. He was actually the funniest one in the entire movie. And of course, they also had the girl that tags along with them, and you know what? She was fine. She didn't annoy the shit out of me either. She was fine. She was actually, and she was the one that always got them out of trouble, which was good. I like how she would always find some way to get them out of trouble. Of course, the kid with the camera is named Tug, and of course, he's the narrator, so he's explaining everything, and he's actually pretty cool too. Here's one thing I gotta say about his family. His family are assholes. Like they don't even pay attention. They don't even pay attention to him half of the time. His parents are too focused talking about their son going to college. They don't even. He even tells them like, "Hey, I'm going over to my friend's house." Oh no, wait, that's a lie. We're actually going out in the middle of nowhere, and they're just not. And she's like, "Okay, that's fine, honey." I'm like, Jesus Christ! What assholes! I mean, these are terrible people. That's what they are. They're terrible people. You know what? Fuck it. Just leave them. Just fucking leave them. Of course, you also got the one kid who makes the biggest connection with Echo because he's a foster kid. And here's the thing: I always felt like he was the main character instead of the kid with the camera, because he was the one with the biggest arc. He was the kid who had the biggest arc. Not Tuck. The foster kid's name Alex. He's the one. He had the better arc, and I felt again, and while the awkward kid, Munch they called him, was my favorite. This kid I followed. I felt was more intriguing. Because again, he had an arc. He had a much bigger fucking arc than the rest of them, really. But yeah, the kid performances were solid when they were funny when they had to be funny. They were dramatic when they had to be dramatic. They acted like kids, and that's very rare in movies today. Special effects weren't too bad either. Again, for a found footage film, made for kids. The special effects weren't bad. The animation for Echo, I believe that thing existed. Sometimes like when he's floating and moving and whatnot, it's CGI. But when he's not, it's a practical effect. So I like that. Although it did worry me that he looked a little bit too much like Boobo from Clash of the Titans. That kind of worried me there. I'm like, oh crap. He looks like a mechanical owl. He beeps. Someone just get that fucking thing. Just get rid of that fucking thing, please, for the love of God. But he was adorable. I actually liked him. I was really sad when the government started experimenting. I'm like, you sons of bitches. Don't do that. No. Oh, poor Echo. Like, I was really sad for Echo. I really was. Oh God. Yeah. And of course, none of this would have happened if the government wasn't, if the branch of the government that was behind this weren't a bunch of trigger-happy dumbasses. They always, like, throughout the entire movie, they keep running into who they believe is a construction worker, and he's actually a government agent, like, looking for the alien. And he explains, like, look, this thing was coming towards Earth, and we shot it down. We shot it down, and now we're trying to find this ship and destroy it. I'm trying to protect the American people. I'm like, Jesus. Who's your fucking boss? Kelsey Grammer in Transformers 4? Jesus. This guy was fucking evil. This guy was an asshole. It wouldn't surprise me if he was willing to shoot the kids in front of everybody if he didn't get his way. It wouldn't have surprised me. I mean, honestly, I was half expecting him to pull a gun out. Like he runs into them again at a diner, and he's looking for the alien, and like in front of it, and he steals Echo. He steals. I mean, like, for everyone else, like, it just looks like he's just stealing this kid's backpack. They don't do shit though. But I'm like, Jesus Christ! I hope he doesn't pull a gun out in front of everybody, because. And hell, there was even one point where it's like, we gotta keep these kids quiet. I'm like, oh my God, he's gonna kill these kids. Jesus Christ. How do you allow someone like this to work for your government? Work for the government. There is no way this guy got past any psychiatric, psychological test. There is no fucking way. This guy is an asshole. But of course, but for whatever reason, their story just kind of stops after they get to the one place where they could have looked for this spaceship, which is at Tuck's house. The government agents just disappear. The government agents disappear, which is kind of, I really was expecting some sort of conclusion to that, but they just kind of drop it halfway through the chase scene. Oh God, what else? But yeah, again, like, some of the comedic moments were actually funny, because they were thrown into situations where, like, oh boy, we've never been into something like this. How do we get out of it? And of course, usually the things that they get out of, it usually ends up being with a piece of Echo's spaceship flying out. That's usually how they get out of the situations. It doesn't necessarily get tedious, but it's close. It's very close to being tedious, because that's usually how they get out of those situations. But yeah, God. But yeah, again, this is a movie I'd show to my 7 or 8 year old if I had one. I don't even have an 8-month-old. Thank God. But yeah, I would show this to my kids. This is not a bad movie. God. Final score, I'd give Art to Echo. I was gonna give it a 6, but the more I think about it, the more I like it. I give it a 7. 7 out of 10. It's a good and enjoyable movie. Not bad. If you just want to take your kid to kill an hour and a half, take them to this. This is not a bad movie. I quite enjoyed myself watching this movie. So yeah, I'll be back with trailers in a little bit. Alrighty. Alright, so trailers. I got the Giver again that I got from Transformers 4, which again looks really, really good. I also got Step Up All In. I think it's a newer trailer, but whatever. I probably won't be able to see it. I got the Ninja Turtles trailer that was attached to How to Train Your Dragon. Not the other one. Not the one that revealed that William Fichtner's character is not Shredder, but like the one before that. And I actually heard one kid's like, I want to see that. Watch the 90s one, kid. Save yours. I'm gonna do you a solid and let you borrow my copy of the original Ninja Turtles movie. Okay? You don't need to go through this. Here's a weird one though. And not weird as in the movie looks weird, but the fact that they showed this. Island of Lemurs, Madagascar. If you remember, I had mentioned this before several months ago. What's weird about it is this movie should have already been released. And I'm pretty sure, and if I remember correctly, I think that movie, I did see that movie, or like the marquee on, I swear I thought I saw it, like over the IMAX theater over at my theater. I swear I thought I did. Like there was a showtime for it. It was in theaters. I mean, I don't know if it's a re-release. It didn't mention a re-release in a trailer or anything. It's the same trailer. And of course, the kids were eating this shit up. It was the same trailer. And I was just really confused because I thought this movie was already out. This movie should have been out when Captain America Winter Soldier came out. The same day. That's when it should have been out. So yeah, that's what made that weird for me. Was just, why the fuck did this not get been released already? I got Book of Life again, and I just realized the song they were playing at the end of the trailer, like it's supposed to be like the love song between the main character and Zoe Saldana's character, and it's like, and his mariachi band's like, okay, we know how we're going to do this, and starts playing Just a Friend by Biz Markie. And I'm like, I just realized what they're playing now. What the fuck? Honestly, I should have known that song, but I just wasn't really paying any attention to it. But after like seeing Todd in the Shadows review of that, I'm like, God damn it. It's probably the only song I can sing off key and no one will complain about it. I also got a new trailer for the Box Trolls, which again I'm looking forward to because I really liked Coraline and I dug the shit out of Paranorman. Paranorman was amazing and I'm really looking forward to this movie. Plus this movie just looks really fucking gorgeous. It just really does. And God damn it, this movie is just stunning looking. Alright. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, Earth to Echo, 7 out of 10. Really enjoyed it. If you want to go to a movie to kill some time with your kids for an hour and a half and both enjoy it, go see this movie. It's not bad at all. I enjoyed it. The kids around me enjoyed it. But of course, then again, growing up with movies like E.T., Close Encounters of the Third Kind, hell, even Super 8. This movie does kind of take a bit from Super 8. I mean, hell, you know what? Show your 8-year-old Super 8. All right, show your 8-year-old Super 8. But yeah, I mean, now would I consider your kid watching this over E.T.? Nah, I wouldn't. Just sentimental, really sentimental reasons. But yeah, but this isn't a bad movie. This is definitely a movie made by a person who grew up with that shit. Who grew up with movies like that. Who grew up with coming of age movies like that back in the 70s and 80s. Like E.T., like The Goonies, hell, even like The Sandlot in a way. So yeah, I'd recommend it. I definitely would. So I'll be back later with Deliver Us from Evil.